Okay, so we are recording now. Alex is here. Alex Fidelko, he's in Manhattan. He said he and Marina is they provided us with the Pushkin. When we did Pushkin a couple of months ago, they gave us uh, Alex, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So it's working now. Okay.
Yeah,
So
well,
Alex, welcome. We have a very nice group here that is enjoying lunch, and I'm very happy to conduct our class in the Jewish calendar. We are 6 days past the Festival of Weeks, so we start another series of weeks, and our next holiday becomes the ninth day of Av, the fasting day, when we remember the various the temples that we've lost. And we are a people of remorse. We have a lot of remorse. I chose this William Butler Yeats poem for a reason, and the reason was that I was reading a review in the New York Times book section, and I just stumbled upon William Butler Yeats, a reference to this poem. And I said, wow. I mean, I had one of these aha moments when you have wake up, and I said, wow. I said, because here he is very, very sorry. And like David sinned so much. Of course, we spend so much time in David, but with Yeats regretted so much his intemperate speech, which we're going to learn about. Um, Yeats, born 1865, died in 1939, right before World War II. He was a fervent believer in Irish independence. Anybody see the video that I sent out by any chance? Yeah, yeah, okay. Take a look at it because it will bring you up to date. It's a short one. It's the shortest of all the documentaries. But born in Sligo, Ireland, outside of Dublin, to an educated family, went to school at art. He first studied art of all things. His father was a writer and an artist, and he discovered himself that he had to be a writer. Okay, so he is a writer. He is, to summarize his life, it would be our whole session, so I can't do it, but I'll be very brief. He wins the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1923. Um, he gets very involved in the occult with Madame Blavatsky. Madame Blavatsky was this Russian lady, you know, Madame Blavatsky. The occult, he got involved with seances. That was his connection to Hashem in his own way. Of course, this is proscribed in our religion that we don't go to soothsayers and join seances. But this is what he did, and he did it his whole life. He had a love of his life, Maud Gonne, one woman that and she rejected him. In my humble opinion, so much of Yeats's anger, because he is a man of zealous, he's a zealous pro-Irish patriot. Now, what I mean by that is that Ireland was always divided into two parts. You have Northern Ireland, which is Dublin, that area, which was Protestant. The rest of Ireland was Catholic. Okay, and so when Ireland became a republic, approximately 1923, uh, it was only the Catholic part that uh, was liberated. And so the rest of the Northern Ireland, centered around Dublin, was still under British control. And of course, uh, Yeats is anti-British. He is pro-culture. He begins writing the early poems, and this is his book of poems. And he's written plays. I just bring you his 400 pages of poems, but his early poems are about Irish folklore. He talks about Fergus and he talks about Wasson, and these are Irish personages in folklore, and he writes a lot about that. And towards the end of his life, at this point, where we are discussing his poem in 1931 is when this poem. He died in 1939 on the eve of World War II. So this poem is a poem of protest. Now, what do I mean by protest? He is protesting his vehement, vociferous voice. Okay. The documentary that I hope some of you will watch that I sent you the link is called The Voice, that he is a very powerful voice. And when we speak about Lashom Harah, we speak about voices. I mean, voice. We all have the opportunity to speak, to show respect. And of course, we know that God created the universe through his voice. Okay. We know that Moses was a man of lowered voice. He was a man who had a hard time speaking. So his brother Aaron had to speak for him. And to relate this to Yeats was a very outspoken nationalist. He loved Ireland. He loved it. He wrote when there was a revolution in 1916, which was the last revolution major that the Protestant Irish fought against the British. They lost about 400 lives. Yeats wrote a very strong poem about the patriots that lost their life trying to liberate themselves from England. So he's a man of great passion. So that's what I'm saying here. And a man of great passion, 1923. Okay. And that's when Yeats won his Nobel Prize for literature. I mean, I want to emphasize that I studied him. I was fortunate at Columbia with a great teacher, and that's the reason that when I saw this article in the book review, I had this aha. I have to do a little bit of Yeats, and then the article happened to deal with Lashom Harah. So that's the reason we are doing this Remorse for Intemperate Speech. Okay. Yeats is also very important, the founder of the Irish theater, the Abbey Theater. He worked with a Lady Gregory and a woman of substance, and so he is the father, really, of Irish literature and Irish drama, and he's a great writer. Okay, so we have 3 stanzas. It's very short. And do I have a volunteer who's going to read the first stanza? Moshe, you want to read? Okay, you want to read it? Go ahead. Everybody have a copy? Okay, here. Yeah. Remorse for intemperate speech. Intemperate speech means that, yeah, another one. Yeah. Intemperate speech means that he just can't control his anger. Okay. And we're going to, that's the theme that we have to deal with this. Or we know people that just cannot control their anger. They want to do rectification, tikkun, if you will, but they just can't do it. So that's where Yeats is with this poem. I mean, we can all relate to it, and we're going to deal with an incident with Lashom Harah from Numbers. I'm sure that Phyllis will enjoy, and everybody else will enjoy as well. Okay, so would you begin reading? Okay, yeah. Susan.
I ranted to the knave and fool, but outgrew that school. Would transform the part that my audience found, but cannot rule my fanatic heart.
Okay. Now, you'll notice that the word fanatic heart is repeated in all 3 of these stanzas, okay? And there is a rhyme scheme here. It's not important, it's like A, and then you have B, and then C, and then B. The rhyme scheme is not important, but the wording, what I want to emphasize here, it's very concise. It is graphic, and not a single word, like in Torah, there's not a single word here that is wasted. Okay. So he's ranting. Okay. Susan, any comments? Susan, please raise your hand if you want to comment, and go ahead. Yeah.
This first paragraph says, one, I am not going to compromise for anybody, for anything. So this is not very conducive for improvement of the lives of anybody.
Very good,
I
absolutely.
really feel that, so he in a way is doing a great disservice to the Catholic community with his absolute determination that I will honor my fanatic heart. That triggered my thoughts.
Is that a good thing, a fanatic heart, Lloyd? Is it something that you would feel comfortable with?
You never reach a compromise. You never solve anything. You hardened everybody's attitude towards each other.
Correct.
This is a great program for inducing combat, and getting the people all stirred up.
Okay, Alex, you should be able to see it. I'm sorry I didn't post it, but now you should be able to see it. Okay, ranting is a very, very strong word. I mean, it indicates a lack of control of your emotions. You rant and rave. I mean, that's an expression. Now, who is he ranting to? In each of these paragraphs, he's having a relationship with different people. Here, he's ranting to the knave and fool. A knave is someone who is dishonest, deceitful, unprincipled. We may call him a lowlife. There's somebody you can't trust. Okay, so he's ranting to these people, and these are we presume are uneducated people. But he outgrew that school. Okay, it implies that he learned to control something by leaving that school. He's no longer ranting to that school. And you think that if he's in school, that he's learning some lesson through dealing with these knaves and fools, okay? That would transform, that we're talking about tikkun, that would transform the part, that would make him a better person, okay? Fit audience found. He says, I'm going to find a better audience, okay, than these knaves and fools. Okay, I'm going to find that better audience, but cannot rule my fanatic heart. Even by changing the audience, as we'll see in the second stanza, he is still stuck with what I call a visceral heart, a feeling of just profound anger, which he cannot rule. Okay. And this is a poem that he wants to transform himself. That word transformation is very important. Tikkun, I mean, that's very important for this for the poet. Okay, the next stanza. Do we have a volunteer, somebody that would read it? Gloria?
I sought my betters, though between fine manners, liberal speech, turn hatred into sport. Nothing said or done can reach my fanatic heart.
Okay. So, first stanza, he's dealing with uneducated street people, flotsam and jetsam, if you will. Here's this educated man. He's the Nobel Prize winner, and he's a senator. He is a playwright, a great leader. Those who came in late, this is just his book of poems. He's written so many poems. He's written plays. He established the Irish National Theater. He served in the Legislative Assembly, and always fighting for an independent Irish, Northern Ireland Republic. He was vehement. Okay, so he sought my betters. Okay, though in each fine manners, liberal speech. So now we go from ranting and raving to fools and knaves to people that have fine manners, people that are educated, university educated, on the finishing schools, liberal speech. Liberal speech, I mean, they can speak about things that liberate the mind. I mean, they're talking about liberating the country, liberating women, liberating Northern Ireland from Britain. So he's found a different group, a milieu, okay, to turn hatred into sport. Now, what does that mean? Anybody?
I would think it maybe means to make it fun.
Very good. To turn his hatred so that he makes fun of himself in a way, and so that Phyllis, you would not take him very seriously if he got really angry at you, and but he was laughing at the same time, and so
Would you?
he's sporting, he's not taking himself seriously. That's what he's trying to
Didn't
do.
mean that.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Yeah, good.
Well, I took a different approach when he's talking about hatred into sport. If you're disagreeing with him, if you're criticizing him, he turns into hatred. And as such, that he dismisses you.
Very good. Very good.
But at least he admits my fanatic heart in every stanza, my fanatic heart. It almost seems to me that he's blaming the other side, but he doesn't like that he has this fanatic heart, that he can't give that up.
It seems, he's recognizing his fanatic heart as a flaw, not as just a characteristic to be accepted.
Archery, welcome. You should be able to see the screen. Say that again. I'm sorry.
That he's recognizing his fanatic heart as a major flaw that he wants to control but is unable to.
He would like to transform it. He'd like to become just an easygoing guy with a great education and be able to have civilized speech. I mean, that is really, you can't imagine what the Parliament must have been in Ireland during these times before the liberation of Southern Ireland from Great Britain, the passion of these people and how they shadowed each other. And there wasn't a civil discourse, okay? What he's trying to establish is a civil discourse. Even if he's showing some hatred, at least let the other guy feel that maybe I really don't mean it, But I like your point of view that even with his playing with it, he turns people against him and they hate him even more. Okay.
But sport has more to say. If he just turned hatred, be one thing, but sport means you begin to like doing it.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Okay,
yeah.
It's not just fun as much as it's okay to come out against somebody and enjoy the process.
It's a win.
So yeah,
It's ambiguous. I mean, you guys are making great points, but he comes back, look, I try to play with this hatred and lighten it. When you play sports, it's a lighter type of activity as opposed to boxing, or tennis or basketball. But it's a more pleasant experience when you turn it into sport. But he's coming back and he says, but I'm stuck with my fanatic heart. I'm back to square one. Okay.
He's not criticizing the people who have fine manners and liberal speech by saying they have hatred and turn it into sport.
Well,
doesn't sound like a good thing to do.
I think that he's implying that even with fine manners, civilized manners, these people don't know how to be civilized with each other. That there's still, anger. There's so much remorse and anger.
That was Ireland at the time.
This is Ireland. You got
Yeah.
to, I mean,
Yeah, it's Ireland and part of their culture and part of the way they were raised, part of their story and history.
did you happen to see the video that I sent you, 28-minute video? Anybody see it beside me? Okay, so Moshe saw it, yeah. Did you find it enlightening? Yeah. Short, it tells you who he is and his loves. And I think that part of his anger here is that he never really found the right relationship with a woman. I mean, he loved this Maud Gonne, and she spurned him. And she was a gorgeous woman, brilliant. Madame Blavatsky, they went to Madame Blavatsky together, and they did these seances, try to find the higher voices, and and but he never found the right woman or the right relationship, even though he was married and had children. But he's back to his fanatic heart. Okay. Aviva, would you read the last one?
Out of Ireland have we come, great hatred, little room. Maimed us at the start. I carry from my mother's room a fanatic heart. So indeed, he is talking very much about the culture and what went on in Ireland and how ingrained it is from the very beginning.
Blame my mother.
He's saying it's genetic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, he's saying that
It's in the
that
genes.
it is.
Or.
It's a consciousness, it's
No, or hereditary.
I don't know, it's a culture that they embraced, and I just wanted to add to what Richard said. You are repeating the word island. That was a mood all over Europe in those days. It started in the middle of the 19th century, and it triggered the First World War. And if you look at the Balkans, where the war started, I mean, it was overwhelming, and it swept even the Middle East, things that we talked about. As much as we talk today about human rights and other nice things, then when this whole wave stopped, only at the end of Second World War in March. It lasted almost 100 years that they shook the world together, and Ireland was just a beacon of that. By the way, Ireland shifted that disdain and hatred for England to hating Israel today.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are looking for an anti-Israeli nation,
Oh, boy.
right
up there.
more than others, so there is. So that's why I said this is a culture, and they need this type of behavior.
It has always been a violent culture of bombs constantly.
But they had, and if you listen to what transpires from Ireland today, even in a conflict that they are not really touched by, like the Middle East, they are so far from the Middle East, the vibes are there. So it is, if you look at the 8th, you should look in this context. It was a global thing. Even the Zionist movement was triggered at some point from this wave of nationalism.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I cannot find my phone.
Very interesting. I'll share a story, family story. I had the honor of meeting the Jewish Lord Mayor of Dublin. His name was Lord Briscoe. He's a friend of my father's. I don't know how the relationship with my dad, but my dad made sure that I met Robert Briscoe. And Robert Briscoe, if you read his background, supplied during his youth arms to Palestine. That's what he funneled. We know that. And yet he rose to the highest, and his son followed him as the second Lord Mayor of Dublin, and showed my brother and I the Parliament, and I spent some time with a very serious man. So that's a little story that I mentioned that that Ireland at some point made Northern Ireland, Dublin, but only Dublin, was funneling secret weapons to Palestine. Yeah.
In many cases.
Yeah, yeah.
But the mood, I mean, the general mood,
No, it's interesting.
if you can talk about something like that, nationalism, starting in the 19th century, and only the Cold War really stopped that trend in some way. But underneath, it's continued, you know, you saw Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, what happened, they kept that even after the communism was gone.
The Northern Ireland still today is a battleground against Britain.
Yes.
It will always be a battleground of sorts.
But isn't it almost like also a religious,
Yes, I mean you have Protestant Northern Ireland. Okay, they relate to Protestant England. Okay, so there are people in Northern Ireland that are pro Britain. There are pro Britain, but the majority is still wants to be independent. And with this Brexit thing, it's confused it all.
Everything to the core.
Yeah, it's very, very confusing politics. Very confusing.
In the 70s, 80s, there was like violent.
Extreme violence. Always, but this is. I mean, this goes back to
the Irish Republic armed.
This goes back to Easter 1916, which is a poem that is in his collected poems. He writes, he laments the loss of life, 400 Irish. This is almost like what's happened in Iran recently. You have back in January, you had insurrectionists, and they just were mowed down, and that's what the British did 100 years ago. They mowed down 400 people. Now, I'm going to transition now to we have about a half hour to the Torah and Lashon Harah. Before I get there, I just want to make a very brief comment. About 3 years ago, I discussed a poem called Radio. Was there anybody here that recalls this? I mean, we've done so many programs.
Yeah.
I could spend the next half hour talking about it, because this poem from the New Yorker about anybody wants to take a copy, see me at the end of the period. I'll be glad to hand it out. But what is so significant about this poem, here is a Catholic woman writing about her experience of having there's a group of rabbis that believe that before you're born, there is a spiritual person, Layla, that comes and teaches you Torah, and you have all this Torah inside you. And then just before you're born, the angel comes and touches your chin, and you forget everything. And her problem here with radio, and it's a beautiful poem. She uses this in Hasidic Judaism. It is said that before we are born, an angel enters the womb, strikes me on the mouth, and we forget all that we learn of the previous lives, all that we know of heaven. Okay, so I did teach this poem, and what I found very significant is that in her case, she's a protester. This Diane DePrima that did this, but she's a protester, and posted in California when I lived out there in the 70s, San Francisco State. She was very vehement, and she tried to get away from this anger and this fanaticism that relates here with Yeats, but she never could. She said, somehow my grandfather's genes were not erased, and here I am in the 21st century, still very vehement and very adamant. So if it's something that you want to look at and want to correspond with me, see me at the end of the period. But I was going to take time out, but I think it's more important that I make a transition to number one, Lashon Harah. Okay, we're dealing with Lashon Harah it's called improper speech. Okay, and there are various commandments in the Torah that you should not go around as a gossiper and spread all kinds of malicious talk. Okay, there's that, and we know there are people that do that and collect stories from people, and they use it to blackmail other people. But that's what the Torah is talking about. Okay, now what I wanted to call attention to is in the prayers. Can anybody point to any prayer that we say every day that tells you do not engage in improper speech? Okay. Yeah. The
Very end of the smoke.
and then they have the Shemona Esrei. Very good. Okay. If you guys want to look at it, I mean, there are books here. I'll point it out to you. But this is on in these books at the end of the Shemona Esrei. It says, and it's on page 118, if you want to look at the art scroll. I find this very important because it's mentioned every day, 3 times a day. We say, and this is at the top of page 318, Elohai Nitzor Lashon Harah. Okay. Everybody should have a copy. Okay. Moshe, it's from the Psalms. It's from one of David's, I forget which Psalm it is. So Elohai Nitzor Lashon Harah. Okay, and for those of you that are here, let me see if I did. I'm sorry, I don't have it on the screen. Okay, but it's at the end of the Shemona Esrei. We say, "My God, guard my tongue from evil, and my lips from speaking deceitfully." Okay, to those that curse me, let my soul be silent. Now, remember these words because we're going to transition now to Numbers, and we'll be talking about the story of Moses, Aaron, and Miriam, and the little triangle, these siblings, the sibling rivalry, and how this idea of become silent when people curse you. Okay. All right. So we say this 3 times a day because the Amidah is 3 times. Now, is there another mention? And anybody who tells me the answer here, you get 5 stars. Is there another mention in the Amidah to proper speech?
Yes, it sounds just like
Say that again.
that.
Okay, all right. So there is a mention, those are the slanderers. Very good. And there's a third one. Okay. Okay, the third one. If everybody goes to page 98,
Yes.
98, at the very beginning of the Shemona Esrei, it says, Adonai, this is on page 98. And Audrey, I'm sorry, I don't have it for you, but when you look at the Amidah, open up any Amidah and you will see it says, Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, God, open up my mouth so I can chant, I can declare your praise. Upi Yagi Tehilatecha. Again.
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
It's an offshoot.
I mean, what's the alternative? You either praise God or you don't praise God. And so many of our prayers are just, the morning prayers that you lead, and they're all they're all praising God. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. So keep that in mind so that, every day we are encouraged to watch our speech. Okay. Civil discourse. Okay. Before I transition, anybody have any comments that you want to make before we go on? There's a lot that we can do here, but I thought that was very significant that we chant the Amidah every day. So be aware of the fact that so much of the prayers that we chant are words from our mouth that are supposed to be going up to a higher level, and our speech should be going company to a higher level, because as the Proverbs say, you create life through your tongue and you can destroy life through speech. Okay, that's what the Proverbs say. Okay, with that in mind, go ahead. Yeah.
It just came from my mind.
Yeah.
The Shesh Zechirot, the 6 things he's supposed to remember every day.
Okay.
It comes at the end of the tefillah, the daily tefillah. I'm surprised that the 7th speech, the 7th one is don't gossip.
You are surprised.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's so, it's something so important, I mean.
Or you mean
You're
like
saying that
this
it is
level?
included or not included? Not, oh yeah, oh yeah. Lo talech rachil ba'amecha. You should not go around as a gossip murmurer. And we can know that a gossip murmuring and selling all this information is such a major issue nationally and even globally that we can go in that direction. But just be aware of it that there are people that just that make trade. They make fortunes in gossip, and selling gossip and preventing gossip from going, So it's a major issue. It's a major issue. Okay, yeah.
Two tribes that were accused of being zealous, and they were Levi and Shimon.
Okay.
They were zealous because they wanted the father to attack Adina's raper, and they went out and they killed all the people in town.
Okay.
And so then Yaakov did not like that, of course, but he did not like, because he was worried about he would be attacked by the rest of the nations, but that didn't happen. But he, in his speech to the kids, he condemned those two tribes, Levi and Shimon, for what they did.
Well, for their
He
actions.
said, don't be zealous.
Yeah.
They were very zealous.
Well, I mean, you're taking us in a great direction, which I don't want to go. But zealotry is a major issue in the Torah. It is a major issue.
But it's not gossip,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, zealotry. Okay, so what we're going to do is transition now to Numbers, page 618 in this here, page 618. We have, we'll get as far as we can. Here you guys. Brought enough of them out, so maybe you have to share.
What numbers are they looking for?
Okay.
What
So I'm transitioning now to Bahalotacha. It's the book of Numbers, page 618, and it talks about Aaron and his sister Miriam confronting their brother Moses with marrying a woman, a
618.
Cushite woman. It begins with the Cushite, okay? So I think we can learn a lot about Lashom Harah and what the Torah, what the Torah not only says, but what implies, what it's trying to tell us, how to conduct ourselves in a Torah manner, okay? So so at 618, it's Numbers 12, verse 1, okay? Numbers 12, verse 1, 618, in everybody have it, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to start off and then I will call on people. I just want to get a little bit of momentum here. We know Miriam, if you look at the footnotes, Miriam is a significant person. She's a prophetess. Why? Because at the Sea of Reeds, when they left Egypt, she led the women in a song of the sea. We know that. We know that Miriam was a wonderful sister because without her care, Moses would never have been raised. He would have been killed. He would have been a Jewish child that Pharaoh declared that all the Jewish children, all the boys would be destroyed, and Miriam, working with Pharaoh's daughter, saved her brother. So you keep that in mind. And the third is that Miriam's presence was provided a well. When they were in the desert, that Miriam's presence provided a well, so that there was always water for them. So Miriam comes at a very high level, okay. So what does Miriam do? So Vayedaber Miriam, Aaron, Moshe, Odot Isha Hakushit, Shalakach ki Isha Kushit Lakach. Okay, so Miriam and Aaron, they get together and they speak to their brother, okay, on the matter of this Cushite woman that he took. Because he took the Cushite woman. Now, Torah doesn't mince words. We know that. So you got the Cushite woman and another Cushite woman. So what's going on here? I mean, is the Cushite woman really from an African tribe, dark-skinned woman that many of the rabbis think she is, okay? And is that the reason that they're emphasizing that Moses, you got Zipporah, and here you are consorting with another woman, and your wife, you're neglecting your wife. How could you dare do that? So here they are confronting their brother with possibly speech that we'll see that God does not accept. Go ahead.
Okay, so if you read Josephus, because we don't really know much about Moshe until he turned 80.
Yep.
I mean, we do know he killed somebody, he had to go flee, and then we don't know real about it. But if you read Josephus, it says that Moshe was a military leader, and Moses was given the assignment of attacking Ethiopia, and he successfully attacked Ethiopia, and he married a black woman and had a family there. So this is what I think she's referring to. If you believe
There are various, I want to emphasize that's one position. There's another position that okay.
Yes.
But we're missing the major issue. They're confronting, the two siblings are confronting their brother, who is the leader of the nation. And just, as if it's fact, Now, it may be true, the Lashom Harah, means that you can take something that is absolute fact and shove it in someone's face, and you could really kill them with that fact. You can really hurt them.
But if you notice here, it never mentions his current wife. It's only was saying they did not think that was right, that he should marry a Cushitic woman in Ethiopia, and that's what they're referring to. But it doesn't say anything about the current wife.
Okay, but
And they just think it was not
okay,
right
now
to do that.
we're going to learn something very strong here. Bear with me, okay? This could be a straw issue. What do I mean by straw issue? Because in the very next paragraph, okay, Vayumru harak ach b'Moshe diber Adonai halo gam banu diber vayishma. So they're saying, but God has indeed spoken only with you, Moses? Are you the only one of siblings that has this one-on-one relationship with God? I mean, what about us? Why aren't we included? Why aren't we on that level? So all of a sudden, they're angry, seem to be angry because of this Cushite woman, whether she's Zipporah or she's an African woman. That's an issue, but it could be a straw issue because here now their anger is really coming out. They're saying, how can it be that you are raised above the? After all, Miriam, I'm the one who saved you. I should be at your level too. I should be able to have a one-on-one relationship with God. Okay. But hath he not spoken also with us? What does this remind you of, Phyllis? The rebellion later on. There was a rebellion.
What?
Yeah, I mean, who's a group of people that are just very jealous of another group and just want to rebel. I mean, anybody? Yeah.
The rebellion.
Korach,
Oh, that's what I
Phyllis. I
thought.
know you knew it, Phyllis. I mean, Korach, and they're swallowed. They're swallowed. Okay, so
I don't know.
it seems to be what the Lashon Harah is. They're hitting Moses with some, and Moses is he's a quiet guy. We know earlier he cannot speak. He stutters. That his brother Aaron had to speak for him in front of Pharaoh because he says, "I'm not up to it." Okay. Anybody have any comments?
Very different from
Yeats.
Very different from Yeats, yeah.
Yeah. One is fanatic and shut his mouth. and
Right.
The other one
Well, yeah.
doesn't speak up.
So we're learning something here, but they are opposite exactly. And notice the next line. Ha'ish Moshe Anav Ma'od Nikol Moshe, you're listening. Nikol Ha'adam Asher Al Panei Ha'adama. Okay, let me get this up for my people here so you see it on the screen. This is number 3. Moses himself was very humble, more so than any other human being on earth. Why is this put in here?
Because it contrasts to the question of his siblings asking jealousy, really. and wanting to know why it's not it. But if he is anav, that's exactly what's being looked for.
It's the highest trait.
High as you can go in a trait. And he had it, and his siblings did not.
Now,
And he could return an answer to them. If he's very
that's the
defensive,
point. That,
he's
Phil,
not-
is very good. Look, when Yeats is in Parliament screaming at the other senators in the Irish Parliament, are they going to sit there and just say, hey, we're going to let this guy Yeats roll over us? What's the reaction? They're going to shout right back at him. So here's Moses, quiet. He's humble. He doesn't respond. Why? Because that's a part of humility. That's the way you deal with anger. The way to deflect somebody who's your enemy is just don't pay attention. Let them vent their anger. This is a very illustrative point of how we should deal with people that are just full of anger all the time. And I know people who are full of anger. We all know people that are full of anger. Yes.
Well, we also got to remember that Aaron was part of the gang who fashioned the golden calf.
Okay.
And
All
that is a major sin.
You're jumping ahead now. We're jumping ahead. We're going to see this. The punishment that is meted out to these two siblings, okay, is unequal. Okay, we're going to get if we're able to get there. Okay, let me continue here.
I forgot the first word, but it's something like Reshit Chachma. What's the first word?
Reshit Chachma is the beginning of wisdom is seichel.
Seichel tov l'chol
Quiet.
Is being Reshit Chachma. Yeah.
Something else.
Okay.
I think it's in Pirkei Avot.
Okay, I mean, this is a brilliant way to deal with people. We all know people that are jealous of us. Yeah, let them vent their anger. Eventually, they're gonna vent it all out, and then you're in command. I mean, the way they get in command is just be quiet, be quiet. When Aaron lost his two sons because they played with fire, it says specifically, and Aaron was silent. Aaron just took it. That was the way it was meted out to him. And of course, the rabbis make a big deal of it as he's being punished because he wasn't punished from the golden calf. And this is, there are all kinds of so many interpretations. But we're going to get to Aaron. Hopefully, we will. Okay, number 4. Vayomer Adonai Pitom. God said suddenly to Moses and Aaron and Miriam, so God suddenly appears and takes a position, and now we're kind of finding out how is God going to deal with each one of these major characters. Each one of these is a very high level spiritual person, and we're going to find out how God deals with them. Okay, God comes down in a cloud of glory, and God's presence is at the entrance of the Ohel, and God vayikra Aaron Miriam vayitzu shnehem, and God calls Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. Okay, so we're ready to hear what God's reaction is. There going to be a punishment? How is he going to deal with these two siblings that we understand now, are very jealous of their brother? The brother has been given grace very much like David. David's been given so much grace and all the evil that he's done. But here's Moses. Moses is basic compared to David. He's a very clean character. I mean, he doesn't have too much. So he does. He does kill an enemy, but he's absolved. He's God's man at this point. Okay, number 6, Vayomer Shemuna Devarai, and God is saying, "Hear my words." Okay, Shema, listen to me. For once, shut up, guys, and listen to what I have to tell you here. My davar, Im yeh neviachem Adonai b'mar'eh elav et vada b'chalam adaber. If you're going to be prophets, and you are, Miriam, you're a prophet. You sang at the sea. You're a prophetess, and Aaron, a prophet of sorts. Okay, now if you're a prophet, I'm going to appear in a vision. Okay. In a vision, I do speak with him in a dream. So God is saying, look, to you guys, if I'm going to appear to you, it's not going to be face to face. It's going to be through a vision, through a dream, through a vision. A vision is something that you may have, like, all I can say is that my finding Yeats was kind of like a vision. All of a sudden, I had this great moment. Wow, I got to do Yeats. I got to talk about improper speech, because in the last 8 years ago, we did De Maupassant. We did a short story, which the whole town is evil speech. I mean, Kurtz and I did it together, Rabbi Kurtz. It was really a great session. Okay, so if I'm going to appear as a prophet, it's going to be through a vision or through a dream. Lo kain avdi Moshe b'chol beitinim. Now, Moses is on a different level. Moshe, you're on a different level. Okay. Okay. Moses is my servant. He's my he's Avdi. He's my humble servant. We know that. Humble servant. Okay. And Bechol Beiti, in the whole host of heaven, I've got a favorite son. I mean, that's Moses. Okay. And he is Ne'eman. He is the only one I can trust. That's I think that's a heavy statement. Ne'eman who? He is the one that's not going to be duplicitous. He's not going to be like those scoundrels, those knaves in the Yeats poem that you can't trust. It's deceitful. Moses and I can have a conversation, and as a matter of fact, Moses can even call me to spade. If he wants to save the Jewish people, I'll listen to him. As we know, the reason that God gives us the 13 attributes, he saves us because of Moses' intercession. Moses is a great figure. Okay. Pe'el adaberbo. Okay. I speak to him mouth to mouth, and also it means face to face. Okay. It means face to face. Umarelo bechidot. Okay. And I appear him, hidot is like puzzles. Riddles, the puzzles. Yeah, puzzles, riddles. Okay. Velo bechidot. In other words, I don't appear to the prophets. I appear through parables, through dreams that they have to interpret. Okay, like Joseph was the great Navi. Joseph interpreted God's dreams perfect, but everybody else, all the other prophets, they're going to be given these puzzles, these enigmas, if you will. Okay, utumanat Adonai yabit. Okay, they'll be given. They won't be given direct vision of me. They will not see me directly. They'll be seeing obscured visions. They'll hear my voice. They'll hear my, but they will not see me. Okay. Umadua lo yuretem ledaber ba'avdi b'Moshe. Okay. Wherein then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant? Why were you then not afraid? God is rebuking them at this point. He's saying, how could you have the chutzpah that my servant, the closest, my buddy, if you will, how could you speak down on him as if you're on his level? You'll never be in his level because of your anger. And notice that the next word, vayichar af, and God's anger, okay, God has anger, was kindled against them, and he departed. God left. Okay. Comment? No. Yeah. I mean,
I'm just picturing a great, movie about that one.
I mean, it's very powerful stuff.
Yes.
And, I look at it this when, because I've studied East Asian literature, that there's the Tao, there's this super force, Hashem, if you will, super consciousness, that if you go against humanity in various ways and you make fun of people that you never have business even talking to them, it's going to come back to you in spades, as they say. What goes around comes around, and that's what's happening now. And Ansar Me'al, all of a sudden, this Anan, which represents, what's the cloud? The cloud that's over the God came in a cloud. So now God is leaving in a cloud, right? So God is leaving, even though we know that Miriam's cloud gave them with the well, but this is God's cloud. Okay, Phyllis, any comment?
The Ananei HaKavod were in honor of Aaron.
Aaron, but Miriam was a well. Miriam's well. So this is the Ananei of Aaron. Yeah, okay. V'hinei Miriam mitzorat kasholeg. Okay, all of a sudden Miriam became whitened, with streaks like leprous, white as snow. Okay. Vayifen Aaron el Miriam and Aaron looks at his sister, and she is full of Torah. Now, why does the Torah say, and Aaron looked at his sister?
Why does
Why?
that?
Well, how else
This
could you
is
see it?
sad.
Didn't look.
I mean, is Aaron at the same level of culpability, do you think, as Miriam?
Well,
Is
they
it-
both talking Russian as well.
Well,
Both
yeah.
are.
Well,
Yeah,
apparently they're
yeah,
not, because
yeah.
she just got so.
To see that she's look.
Apparently, well, Viva said, apparently they're not because she is punished severely. She's punished severely. So that would,
I think she spoke first.
exactly. I think that's what we intuit here, that she is,
Implies
Yeah.
that not only is the one who speaks gossip against somebody culpable, but the one who receives it.
receives it without
Without
refuting it,
refuting.
without refuting, walking away. The best way to deal with Lashom Harah is, quite frankly, is just walk away if you can. Just,
By the way, I found
yeah.
siag l'chachma shtika.
Say that again.
Siag l'chachma shtika.
Shtika.
Vows are a protective fence for applicants. A protective fence for wisdom is silence.
Silence. Yeah. Silence. Silence is golden. Silence is golden. Yeah.
If you actually look at the first pasuk, it does not say that Miriam spoke. It just says, it mentions Miriam's name first.
Right.
Before Aaron.
Well,
That suggests that she
right.
spoke first.
right.
But it never says that Miriam spoke and.
Of course, this.
It says right in there.
Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the Cushite woman whom he had married. But her name is mentioned first. So I think that since her name is mentioned first, she's the one that spoke up first. That's my own speculation.
Now, all right. So
And
Miriam
Sarai
is
isn't really
punished.
leprosy, it's some kind of
It was-
whatever, spiritual, something that affected you. Because the way to come back wasn't to find some kind of way to get rid of the heft on your skin, it was a way to come back through taking a good look at yourself and coming back.
It was also
To-
a way for other people
Both
to
it's
see
there,
it.
yeah.
I want to, we're short on time, but I do want to mention here some points that you guys take home. And that is that in verse 12, El noti kamet asher b'tzeto merechem imo. Okay. Aaron is saying, pray, Moses, pray for us because we acted foolishly. Okay. And he says, I pray be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed when he cometh out of his mother's womb. Okay. This is a relation to the young Moses who came out, right?
Yates said that, I carry from my mother's womb.
Yeah. So it's a relation, it's relating to Moses, the child Moses being saved by his sister. Okay, now she has a zechus, she has merit for saving him. And because of that, she is, her punishment is to be removed from the camp for 7 days. Okay. And the punishment of the children of Israel is they cannot move for 7 days. Now, what do we learn from that? That the fact that,
Consequences.
pardon?
There are consequences, and when one leader does something, and that does.
How about taking
does
one step further that we
And-
all, go ahead.
Okay, oh, all right,
Yeah.
so there are consequences, but if one leader is doing something and influencing others to do it, then there is a collective.
Very good.
responsibility.
The idea is collective responsibility, that all Jews are kind of, you heard that expression, that we're all connected, we're all Jews are responsible for other Jews, and that when one Jew commits a gross sin, we all feel it.
Arevim, there is it.
Yes.
Kol Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arevim. Yeah. That's the idea.
That Lashon Harah is associated with leprosy. Because you see exactly, you have the Lashon Harah and you have leprosy. And that's how we learn, that Lashon Harah is associated with leprosy.
And the word mitzora is motzi shem ra,
Yeah.
that you have brought forth an evil name, so look, guys, we're in a world of reality, and we hear such speech every day. And how do we deal? That's what we need to ask each other. How do we deal with all this speech that you can't help? The media just throws at you all the time.
You can't silence them this time. That. Not the same.
Well, to speak up, puts you.
Doesn't We tried it once in the
Yeah.
30s and
Didn't work.
it didn't work.
But you have to stand up. Above all, you have to stand up with stature. And that's what Moses represents, in my humble opinion, that he has stature. Why does he have stature? Because he realizes that he is heavy of tongue, and he watches his tongue. I mean, he told God, God said, don't worry. You are going to be the leader because you are of humble origin. Your tongue is not something that's going to get you in trouble. And we've all gotten in trouble at various times because we've said something we didn't mean. But what does that mean? What does it mean that you didn't mean something? I mean, if you said it, you had to have some belief in what you said. I mean, it's very hard. Like Yeats, we're back to the Yeats problem. How do you recuse yourself when this is part of your DNA? Yeah. I mean, you can look at the leaders all around, and we're stuck with.
You have bad information, you might not know that you have that.
Well, there are people that don't want to know that they have bad information. They just lord it over others. There'll always be bullies in the world. The Korachs of the world and the Miriam wanted to be at her brother's level, but she never get there. And
you shouldn't speak about anyone, whether it's good or bad, because you don't know if the information is correct in the first place.
Well, in some cases.
be very careful what you learn from AI, because it could be a major issue.
It gave me.
Right.
Somebody said it and it's not.
It's making up information, even.
On something as basic as the operation of a stove, it gave me correct and incorrect information.
Oh.
So, I mean, if that's factual, that's really factual stuff.
I mean, you have three different AI systems that are given the same problem, and each one is coming up with a different answer. That kind of thing. With Anthropic, it's Gemini, it's ChatGPT. They've all got their own DNA. Audrey, thank you for tolerating us. Thank you for tolerating us. We're trying. I mean, we're trying to keep the speech civil here. Keep it civil, down to earth, humble. Mazel tov, and you're becoming a great grandmother.
Wow.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming. See you next time. I'll announce the next. Well, we will have one in June. I'll announce it. Yeah.
Good.